Vice Dean for Academic Affairs, Faculty of Economic and Business, Universitas Terbuka, Dr. Zainur Hidayah, SPI, MM, the Honorable Vice Dean for Student Affairs, Learning Services and Cooperation, Ms. Olivia Idrus, SAMSC. We would like to warmly welcome our distinguished speaker, Mr. Aziz, who is joining us online today. Thank you for being with us, Mr. Aziz Nurholis Majid, SS MPD, and Mr. Erno de Corte, who is present with us here today. Thank you for being with us. And all respected participants join us in this room and online. First of all, let's praise to our God for His blessings and mercy. And my name is Karisma Azmi as your Master of Ceremony today. Okay, to begin our event, we kindly ask everyone to stand as our nation anthem Indonesia Raya, followed by Universitas Terbuka hymn. Everyone, please rise. move to the next agenda, we invite the Vice Dean for Academic Affairs, Faculty of Economic and Business, Universitas Terbuka, to deliver the opening remarks. Dr. Zainur Hidayah, SPMM, and please welcome Mr. Zainur Hidayah. The time is yours.
Thank you, Mbak Karisma. Good morning. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor to welcome Mr. Eno De Carte, co-founder Plus, and Mr. Aziz Majid as a member of Plus. And this honor to join with us too, our Vice Dean, Mrs. Olivia. A warm welcome as well as to participants attending this international seminar, both on-site and online. We apologize, the Dean is unable to join this event as she is currently engaged in another activity outside of UT. At present, we know the world is becoming increasing often, which means the access of to resource and opportunity is expanding for our group, for our group. One of examples, today in this event, we are able to share knowledge originating from various countries. You see here, Eno has joined with us. Sustainability is not longer just a topic or to discuss. It's a global imperative. Every day, the urgency grows and the world look to nation, organization, and leaders to take decisive action. Indonesia, as one of the world's largest producers of oxygen, has profound responsibility in this matter. Recognizing this, Indonesia ratified the Paris Agreement 2015 through our law number 16/2016, affirming its commitment to addressing climate change. We understand that the success of the policy depends on the leadership. The Paris Agreement is not an exception. It requires patience, courage, and determination from leaders at every level. Through this international seminar, we will explore how Indonesia can strengthen in the role in advancing sustainability and contributing meaningful to global efforts. Let us use this opportunity not only to exchange ideas, but also inspiring action. Together, we can ensure that sustainability is not just a trend, but a legacy we leave to future generations. That's my conclusion, my introduction. I apologize for any shortcoming, and I thanks to your sincere for your attention. I know I will return the floor to our Master of Ceremony, Mrs. Karisma. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Dr. Zainur Hidayah, SPMM, for the insightful and inspiring remarks. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce our moderator today, Mr. Muhammad Adam Sudaryanto, SA MBA. He's a lecturer in Entrepreneurship Study Program at Universitas Terbuka and holds an MBA from Universitas Gajah Mada. He is also active in community service related to sustainable micro, small, and medium enterprise development. He will be guiding today's discussion. And please give a warm welcome to Mr. Muhammad Adam Sudaryanto, SA MBA.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Karisma, for the kind introduction. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, distinguished speakers, Mr. Erno, Mr. Aziz, Mr. Zainur, Vice Dean of Academics, Ms. Olivia, Vice Dean of Student Affairs, respected lecturers, dear participants, students. Welcome to the international seminars organized by the Faculty of Economics and Business Universitas Terbuka. Yeah, today's seminars brings an important and timely theme, Indonesia's path to global sustainable leadership. This topic is highly relevant as Indonesia continues to strengthen its role in sustainable development and international collaboration in addressing global challenges. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce our distinguished speaker. Our first speaker is Mr. Erno de Corte, MSc. Yeah, I remember you, first time meeting you when I was 1 month at UT at Kobisma event. He is the co-founder of Plus. He is a creative entrepreneur and global community developer with over 4 decades of experience in connecting international networks of creative and entrepreneurial high potential, or you say high post, right? Yeah, he graduated from Delft University of Technology, the Netherlands, and holds a Master of Science degree in Technical Information Engineering. He has a strong background in education, information technology, and knowledge innovations, and has authored more than 20 books. Wow. His current work focuses on building resilient global communities guided by the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. We are honored to have you today. And the second speaker is Mr. Aziz Nurkolis Majid, SSMPD, will join by Zoom. He is an international education developer and global community builder with extensive experience in cross-border educations and sustainability initiatives. Yeah, he has served as a lecturer at several higher education institutions and hold a master degree in English education from Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia, and also active member from Plus, an international project developer at the Islamic Fashion Institutes. So ladies and gentlemen, today's seminars will be conducted as follow. Each speaker will have approximately 45 minutes until 1 hour for the presentations, and will be followed by questions and answer sessions. And participant who want to ask can raise their hands or chat in the Zoom chat box. Without further ado, I would like to invite our first speaker, Mr. Erno de Corte, to deliver his presentations. The floor is yours, sirs.
Thank you very much, Adam. And if you talk about high potentials, Mr. Adam is one, and there are many others in the audience here as well. There are many others in your student community as well. And we need to identify high potentials like Mr. Zainour and Mr. Rahmat and others. I've already spoken to quite a few of you. And honestly, I'm very glad that I'm back. I will stay until Friday. If you want to find me, you can find me in the Green Cafe. Yeah? So I'll buy you a cup of coffee afterwards, and we will talk more. And I think we might have the screen back. Can you give me screen sharing, please? I think I have already, yeah? Let me see. Can you hold this for a sec? Here. Need my glasses, I'm getting old. Share my screen. Now it's going to be small. I know that. So what you see here is a very tiny presentation, and there is a story behind that. The text is not important, but if you want to follow it more closely, you can actually use this QR code. Can you? Oh, I have to move that away. So you can use this QR code. Oh, and then watch it on your phone as well. So the idea of all of the materials is that it is written for your phone, more than for a Zoom meeting per se. And we use these materials in different ways. So this QR code will lead you to the same pages as I'm sharing here. Can you make it slightly smaller again? Excuse me? Can you make it slightly smaller again? Just for the full screen? Yeah. Yeah. Because yep, that's fine. That's fine. So I am an engineer. I am an engineer as a start. I wanted to be a civil engineer. I wanted to build bridges and dams and develop the world in that way. We are from the Netherlands. We have been influential in Africa, in Indonesia, in Suriname, and so on. And I wanted to be one of the people that made a change in the world. So by building roads and dams and all these things. But then I became an educator. As Adam knows, we just spoke about it, and Rahmat, I have been a Montessori teacher for 9 years. But I went back to university, as was mentioned, to become an engineer in information engineering. One of the first students in 1988 or something. I was in the first group of students ever at University Delft. But I'm even more proud about the next step in my life. In 1995, I became an entrepreneur. I started my own business together with a fellow student. And since then, I have been going around the world with my bags and my traveling, and I travel all around the world to tell you a story. To tell you a story. And I hope that story, at least for some of you, like for Mr. Zanur and like for Mr. Rahmat and Bulan and others in the room, makes sense. It could be that what I'm sharing with you doesn't work for you at all. I'm fine with that. But I'm going to try to make sure that you understand that Indonesia's leadership in the world in this difficult time, if you look at all the confusion, China, US, Trump, Russia, the war with Ukraine, the Palestine and Israel things, one haven of respectability and stability is Indonesia. That's an important thing. My lesson from Indonesia is that you are not very visible in the world. And that's unfortunate, as Mr. Aziz will also mention, because you are a big nation with 300 million, almost 300 million, as the biggest Muslim country in the world. You should show your leadership. And the focus on today is sustainable leadership in the world. If the country can develop itself in a way that it could show its true leadership, then others would look at you and say, wow, what happened there in 20, 30 years? It's not now, it's not today, it's not tomorrow, but it's going to take 10 to 20 years to come to that point where people recognize something special happened in Indonesia. So that is the backdrop of what I want to talk to you about. So it's only 20 items, and the first one is actually about your breakfast. Your first one is, what did you eat this morning? What would you like to eat if you have a choice? Show of hands, if you have a choice for your breakfast. Is it the egg or is it the chicken? You cannot choose anything else. Who wants the eggs? Okay, how much people approximately, Adam? Hands for egg. 10? Okay, who wants chicken at breakfast? Oh, I'm not. Oh, it's only a few. But the others didn't make a choice. Come on, you have to choose egg or chicken. Why is this important? We see it at the end. But choosing your food, making those choices at the start of the day even, is an important thing of what we all need to be aware of. Each and every choice that we make, you as individual, not your government, you as individual can make a difference. 300 million differences per day in the choices that we all can make. So the chicken and egg problem isn't just what was the first one that came. By the way, does anybody know which was first, the chicken or the egg? Scientifically, we are in a science environment. The answer is the egg. Yeah? But that's too much to discuss now. That might be for later. But scientifically, it is the egg. The egg is the first thing that came, and then the chicken came out of that. We are going to talk today about dreams. Dreams from people in the room here, from Zainur, from Rahmat, from Bulan, from Adam. Your dream, perhaps. The dreams of your students. Some of them want to be an entrepreneur like me. I'm not here as an academic. I'm not here as a lecturer. I'm here to tell a story about dreams and make that dream stronger and stronger so that it become a big, hairy, audacious goal. Something that you really want to make happen. So having that is my passion. That is what I do. I talk to people about that dream. But we also have to realize we create one big problem. Many of you here in the room are writing articles, academic, for PhD, for Master of Science. And what happens is we keep adding content to the mountain of knowledge. We have so much knowledge that we don't even know what's on the mountain anymore. We are lost in the mountain of knowledge. And we need guides like Pa Zainur, like Rahmat, like Adam, like yourself, to find the right bits of information, not so much the truth, but to understand what we do with all that knowledge. So we cannot just keep adding knowledge to that mountain more and more in the internet or whatever it is. We also need to apply the knowledge as well. And that is where our society in general, not Indonesia only, the world, specifically the universities, are lacking. It is adding knowledge, but it isn't really making it happen as well. That is not criticism, but it's the reality of what we are looking at. So the next thing that we need to realize is that, we should not just look at Indonesia and then find a solution for Indonesia and then think we can bring it to a global level. I can tell you, Traveloka and all these other websites that try to work from a local perspective, going global, it doesn't work. So the first thing that needs to happen for the things that we are discussing today is you need to think about the global perspective. If your idea can be on a global level and you can apply it in a local environment, then you have a path to success. And I'm going to show you a few examples in a second for that. So think global, act local is a very important thing to remember also for your students. If they make a proposal for Cobisma, it should be according to these ideas. If you think global first, and I have a small example here, for example, this little bag in here. Can you hold it for a sec? Just realized that last week I was at Islamic Fashion Institute, and this company from Indonesia creates this from seaweed. This is seaweed. And they're thinking in their new company, in their design, about how to do this globally. So they take the right approach. They don't think about the Indonesian market so much, but they try to think about how can we, you can pass it around. This is seaweed. That's funny. So look at it. And that's part of the think global, act local thing. So the last thing I want to do, general thing, is that you have to realize that Pa Zainur is gone and myself are from phase 3 of our life. We are without the children at home. We are in a phase where we have more time, more money even, than Rahmat, for example. Rahmat is in phase 2 of his life and he's very responsible for his children, his family, the house and all the other things. Most of you probably have children and a family. The biggest thing is to make money and to survive, right? But people like Adam, relatively young, they're in phase 1 of their life. This is about education and exploration. You don't have all the responsibilities, you don't have a lot of money, but you have time and you can explore the world. You can explore your talents. What we need to realize is that going from 1 to 2 to 3, for each and every phase, you need a kind of, not a plan, but an idea on what you want. You might be in phase 2 now, like Aziz is. He will follow me later here. But you also have to think about your future. What do I want to do when the children are gone? My children are 30 and 31. One lives in Texas, the other one is somewhere else. We are a global family. They're not with me anymore. So I have plenty of time and even money to do exactly what I'm doing now, to travel the world and talk to you and many others in many countries. So that is my plan, between quotes. This is important because what you can see is there is an almost natural connection between phase 1 and phase 3 as well. And we will talk about that later more. So going to the next. Yes, please. Okay, there we are. This is a man with a dream. This dream was very strong. I often am in South Africa, the land of apartheid, the country of apartheid in the past. And Mr. Nelson Mandela had a big dream to end apartheid without violence, without shooting all the white people like myself. Most of the members of his ANC wanted to take the guns and start shooting. That's not a solution in the eyes of Mandela. So he had a big dream and a big, hairy, audacious goal to dream about the Rainbow Nation and to look at the system as it was there, to take it apart and to construct something which was far more healthy without sacrificing. So the part that he found most important is to integrate the white people in a different role in society. And he did a lot of that. There's a whole story to be told about this, but this man had a dream and a big, hairy, audacious goal. I know Rahmat has a dream. It might not be a big, hairy, audacious goal yet, but there is a dream. I know Bulan has a dream. I don't know Adam's dream yet. He's still trying to find out. I know Zanur has a dream. And I'm trying to work with these people in talking about your dream, if you have one, and make it stronger and stronger. That is how the world is changing. This is Mr. Mandela making that change. The next person is influential until today for all of us. This is Mr. Jobs. Without Mr. Jobs, without Steve Jobs, we wouldn't have 7 billion smartphones. This is a tiny smartphone, as you can see. That was the first iPhone. And now I have 4 or 5 of them lying here. And I use them, you use them. The first thing that you wake up with, is not your laptop, but it is your smartphone. That is what you wake up with. Yeah. So for most people, the first thing they do is they look at, not at a laptop, at a MacBook, but at their phone. And the last thing you see is often your phone as well. So the phone has become so important. The dream was to create a device, a simple device without a keyboard. No Blackberries. I still have Blackberries, but no Blackberries. We want a phone without a keyboard. And his dream was so strong that even within Apple, he found many opposition, but he pushed through and it became a big thing. What most people don't realize is that the biggest difference is not the device, but it is the software on the device, the App Store, the whole infrastructure in the backend. The most money that Apple makes is not by selling phones, but by offering the services like the iCloud, storing things and offering the apps as well. That is how they have a stable set of money coming in. The biggest part of their stable finance is coming from that, not from the MacBooks, not from the... So his dream was translated in a few things: reinvent the phone, create the ecosystem strategy. Again, you cannot really read it on this screen, but you can read this later. Realize that these people had a dream which became a big, hairy, audacious goal. By the way, Mandela is from South Africa. Mr. Jobs is obviously from the US. But what most people don't realize, is that this gentleman is also from South Africa. Very recently, Mr. Musk, Elon Musk, changed the whole automotive industry. You might not see a lot of Teslas here in Indonesia, but I can tell you, each time you see a Chinese license plate blue electric car, almost all of them are a copy of what Tesla originally started with. Yeah, so they would not have a breakthrough. The industry, General Motors, Ford, Mercedes-Benz, all these big brands, Toyota, very important in Indonesia, they are very much connected to carbon fuel. They don't want to change. Tesla made the change happen with Model S, high-end model, and then gradually the Chinese realized, oh, this is an opportunity, we will step into that. Build your dreams, you know the brands here. Having an electric car for 300 million people would be huge. Think about the pollution that you take out. Think about the infrastructure of Pertamina being gone almost. All the money invested in all of that. This is the Faculty of Economic and Business. What is the new business model? What is the new business model with EVs? That you have a restaurant with a charging point. You don't drive to the petrol station anymore. No, you open your restaurant and offer free charging. Then suddenly, charging your car at a fast charger is far more attractive than going to the petrol station along the highway. Yeah? So you're not waiting in line for that smelly stuff that comes out of the car as well at the end. This is a breakthrough, but it is a difficult one. This market is divided now between a few companies like Tesla, as well as the Chinese and a few Koreans. Toyota plays no role in this. Toyota doesn't believe in electric at all. So your main brand here in Indonesia is slowing you down in this. They will do whatever they can to slow you down. The big oil companies like Shell and Pertamina, they will slow you down. Their interest is not in making you drive electric, but on the long run, it's the only way forward. Mr. Musk is from South Africa, but we are in Indonesia. And the first time I spoke to Mr. Adam was actually at Cobisma and East Best 2024. He just was here for a month. And the first time we spoke about some of these things, I think, Adam was quite new and looking at me like, okay, what's happening here? But the presentation, the keynote at East Best 2024 was quite impressive for me as an outsider. Whatever you think about your Golden Indonesia 2045 plan, you might not agree, you might think it's crazy, but you have a plan. There's almost no country that has a plan like this. You are going to celebrate 100 years of independence from the Netherlands with a dream. The challenge here is, it is not your dream. It's the dream of a government. And how do we translate that strong dream, because it's a strong vision, all of these beautiful things here, all connected to sustainability, how do we connect it to the individual in the street? Governments cannot do that. You have a government that created the dream, but then bringing it into the streets, into everyday life, into choices like chicken or egg. What do you eat for breakfast? That's very difficult. So we need to do it bottom up. We need to find people that want to think about it, want to talk about this, and then make that happen. It's a dream that is worth to explore more. And then you have one big advantage, because this is where Mr. Aziz steps in. I am not a specialist on Islam or Muslim. I don't have that kind of belief system. But Mr. Aziz is. And Mr. Aziz is an entrepreneur like myself. He's very interested in this kind of matter. He's living in Bogor and working in Bandung with a lot of different institutes. So I think we should give it to Mr. Aziz. Mr. Aziz, are you in the room?
Yes, hello, hello,
Okay.
Mr.
Can
Reno,
you
how are you?
please switch to Mr. Aziz, please,
Yeah, thank you.
Mrs. Zoom expert? There he is. So Aziz, are you ready to do your part, please? Take over the
Well,
screen.
all right, a pleasure. So allow me to share my screen then. All right. So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Mr. Erno, Mr. Adam, respected leaders, distinguished lecturers, Pak Zainur, and all the staffs. Thank you for having me here. And today, Mr. Erno said that I'm an expert, but actually, let me say that I'm not here as an expert. And I'm here just to ask, to invite all of us to try um, to reflect together. That's I think how I can put it here. And let's try to do that by telling you a story. So I'm just going to share a story about um, Adam alaihissalam and to our generations. And I believe we can see four keywords here on the title as it is presented. So we have leadership, we have sustainability, we have Indonesia, and Mr. Emma has talked about Indonesia Emas. Yeah? And we have also the last keyword, which is path. So let's try to address all of these keywords through the story that I'm about to share. So the story began when the first leader of humanity was born, or rather created. And the appointment of Adam alayhi salam as leader, or human as leader, was actually created skepticism from the angels and even jealousy from the devils. And we all know this story, and our parents has repeated it again and again in our teaching. And the fact that Adam alayhi salam was the first leader was then supported by the teaching. And in this occasion, I would say that I'm interestingly proud of this concept, because if we see here, after the first leader was created, Allah then created the first teaching, the first education system. So in this sense, we can see that um, leader was actually shaped. We need education to produce leaders. And what was the first education at that time? So Allah taught Adam the names of all things, the names of all things. In a narrow perspective, it's like telling the vocabularies, the names of all the things in the universe. But if we go deeper, the names comes as well with all the systems behind it, the science, the planning, and even the systems. So we have to take a look at it from the broader point of view here. The first leader, which got the first education system. Very interesting. Next, the first leader was born, but then there was also the first rule, the first regulation. So, what was the first regulation for humanity? What was the first task for the humanity leadership? So, the first rule was not prayer, was not giving. It was actually interestingly related to ecology, related to a tree. So Allah says, do not approach this tree. Allah creates a boundary to protect the tree from humanity. And what's the result? I believe we all know the end of this story. We failed. So humanity's first leadership failed to follow that one rule and one rule only. But why? Because at that time as well, there was one of the reasons I believe was the whisper, the devil, driven by the jealousy, they whispers to the leader, this is just a tree. This is better for you. This is progress. And even it was the first hoax being produced at that time, because at that time, the devil actually said that, you know what, this is the tree of immortality. So imagine if you have the immortality, then you can't always obey Allah. So the whisper did not say, or did not whisper to disobey the rule, but he provided justification. He provided rational to justify the unjustifiable. And ladies and gentlemen, sadly, we see in the modern era now, many of our leaders have fallen into the whispers and fail over and over again. So here, the first command was broken. The first rule was broken because of the whispers. And we've got the first failure. But then failure is actually part of the progress. That was not the end, that was actually the start. Because after the failure, Adam alayhi salam and Siti Hawa at that time was sent on earth. So that's the cause of the failure. We lost heaven, we lost our hometown, and we sent to earth. We have to plant if we want to eat that. We have to hunt if we want some meat. And that's actually the cost that has to be paid by humanity. But of course, Allah did not leave us just like that. And He has sent prophet after prophet to perfect in perfecting the teaching, in perfecting humanity, until there was the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, of course. And this is the moment that religion was perfected, where leadership was perfected, because he is actually the living example of a perfect leader, which hold a perfect book, the Quran. So then it brings us to a question. If the Quran is that perfect and Muslim has the Quran, why is it that the Muslim countries not leading? The answer is, of course, is in the gap, yeah, the void of the implementation. Yeah, there's the gap between the values and the reality. And we see it happening. Taking a look at the value, what Quran has is actually in line with what the SDGs, the UN SDGs, like the poverty, for example, it is in line with zakat and sadaqah, the social welfare, the affordable and clean energy, and then the climate action, and all others are actually in line with the teaching of the Quran and Hadith. And if you want to see more about these, I just show you three of them here, but the rest of the content was in a document from the Islamic Fashion Institute, and you can get it by contacting me later. And then if we put then the all these values, all these SDGs, all of these teachings into actions, it would be actually quite powerful. Take, let's take three examples. For example, with the value of noisrof, amana, and maslahah, the outcome, if we put it into policy, would be lower consumption, reduce deforestation, and even inclusive growth. And then after we talk about leadership, we talk about sustainability, we talk about now Indonesia. So why is Indonesia important? Because we have actually powerful trinity. Yeah, we have almost 300 million people, and it would be a massive power in the future. We have biodiversity, we have Islamic legitimacy as well, which actually can support everything. And please note that probably no other country possesses all three assets simultaneously. And if we take Indonesia as the pilot and it is successful, then it can be implemented in any other countries. And if we can make it work, then we would have better energy, better infrastructure, and even better economy. So, how to implement this concept then? How to fill in the gap between the value and the reality? Well, we have three levels of interventions, of action. In individual level, I believe that every one of us, we can deliver it. We can do it. We can save the energy. We can have a responsible consumptions. And in institutional level, I see that this is not only a concept for UT, especially for the faculty of business, because I was there myself when we went to Sumeneb. Yeah, and I think Mr. Erno will talk more about the Sumeneb project, how this value and this concept was actually implemented in helping the society in Sumeneb. And the highest is, of course, policy. Yeah, and it's about the regulation, the incentive, the enforcements. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's sum it up. uh, we have talked about leadership. We have the first leader, Adam alayhi salam, and also the first commandment and the first failure. And interestingly, all of these are related to ecology, to ecosystem, to a tree. Even the teaching of the prophets, which has been perfected at the Prophet Muhammad SAW, and teaching us to plant a seed even though we are facing the doomsday. See how important ecology is. Sustainability is very important in the teaching of Islam and the Quran. So the last chapter of the story, then we can see it is in our hand. So we are actually at the last chapter, and it is yours. The decision is yours. Are we taking the most traveled path of destruction? Or are we taking the path less traveled by, the good path, the path leading us to our hometown, to go back to Jannah, to the heaven? So, ladies and gentlemen, Allah says that everyone will be asked about every blessing that we've got. And let me close with this. We have taken so much. We have taken our water. We have taken energy. We have taken people, knowledge, the forest, the tree, the air. But what have we given to Mother Earth? May Allah guide us. Amin ya rabbal alamin. Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Mr. Aziz. This was only 10 minutes, but this
Oh,
story
thank
should be in a longer version, perhaps presented to you as well, discussed with you more. This was only a presentation. So I encourage you to invite Mr. Aziz in the future. And now you also know why Adam is so important. Adam is
yeah,
literally the figurehead of the story of Aziz. Yeah.
yeah.
So
So
he is the first man that makes things happen. He also was the first man that makes us fail as well. Sorry, but he is doing his utmost to make things better. Yeah. So it's important to realize that the story touches literally one of us here in the room as well. I hope you as well. This story goes much further. I'm not here to lecture you. I'm here to open your mind. So I'm going to share my screen. So you should be able to see this again. This was the poster that Aziz created for me, but as you can see, there is a much bigger story to tell. So if I look at where we are now halfway through our story. And the time is still okay. We are within the limits. So let's have a look at other things that are important. You as a nation, can you zoom a bit for me, please, Mr. Zoom Master? You as a nation, she's the Zoom Master. So we have Adam and the Zoom Master. You as a nation are going from a developing status where you have been, you are not even here anymore. You are an emerging nation, but you are soon going to be, according to plan, a developed nation. I hope not in the way that we have done it in Europe. I hope not in the way that we have done it in the US or even in China. That is not the right way. We are killing Mother Earth, planet Earth. We cannot continue to go down that path. We have to do this smarter. To become a developed nation, and you are doing that, which is developing in a smarter way. So we have to look at what we can do there as society, as individual, and everything in between. So let me take an example. Can you zoom a bit more to show the bottom as well? Yeah. I need the... Yeah. This is fine. And then scroll. Yeah, perfect. So I want to introduce to you this one. Not so much consumerism as the path is which you are following now. More malls, more shopping, more bags, more perfume, more this, more that. I'm not pointing at you. I'm not pointing at you. I'm not pointing, but I'm pointing at you as society. Don't go down that path without including the word sustainable in it. Sustainable consumerism. This is not about taking things away from people. This is about more luxury, including a smaller footprint, and in the end, lower costs. Now, mind you, sustainable food, sustainable scooters, sustainable cars, but you are Faculty of Economic Business. It is not about the buying costs, because buying is investment. But each time that you look at your electric scooter, you're going to smile because there is no petrol cost anymore. There is no hidden cost in the pollution that you create. Your society, our society, is burdened by petrol fumes in the street, by the continuous noise of the scooters, which is bad for everybody. 20% of your society, if not more, is dealing with stress. Stress is associated with all the noise in the streets even. Yeah. So taking that away with EV cars and electric scooters is sustainable consumerism. Still all the luxury, still all the advancement, but in a smart way. So don't take away things from people, add something to them, but make it sustainable. Make it green. That's another way of looking at it. So this is one of the SDGs, responsible consumption and production, and I, in a way, invite you to translate that into sustainable consumerism, which actually, if you are in the perfume industry, for example, or in the fashion industry, like Aziz with Ify, green clothes, not literally green, but sustainable clothes, is a niche market where you can make more money with. And it will have a smaller impact on the planet as well. So more luxury, smaller footprint, lower costs. That's an interesting thought. Next one, Next one is that we have to think about the fact that what we think about in our brains should also be translated into practical things. This is part of our project together with Tebuka, and this is what I want to show you, how to connect the ideas to application as well. Who of you has a bed over there? Is there a bed? Who has the bed? Can you show it? Okay, who has the chair? There should be a chair there as well. Oh, he has both of them. That's not fair. Give one away. So that's not fair. This is not sustainable. This is a sustainable chair and a sustainable bed. Who has the shower? Where's the shower? Where's the shower? Oh, sustainable shower. Who has the books? You have a big book warehouse there. Who's the television? It's a. Okay. So we have sustainable products here in the room attached to sustainable consumerism. We make it practical. This TV should be a green TV running on solar energy and not on PLN with all the costs. So this is me. This is me in an electric car made in Indonesia. In Yenpo, Ponorogo, in September 2024. These students make, with their teachers, their own car. This is your ideas from an academic level translated into practical application. Unfortunately, this car is not connected to the brains. It's just doing it, building it, but your smartness of university level is in no way connected to this. So this is hands only, mostly, not so much brains. This is another problem here. This EV, this car, would compete against the big brands from China and from Korea and from the Teslas, etc. So making your own automotive industry in Indonesia is going to be very challenging. I'm not against trying, but it's going to be difficult. But this is one of the biggest challenges that we have. The 139 million scooters in Indonesia that create a lot of problems in public health, in energy dependence, because you are dependent on carbon fuel, which your government is actually subsidizing. This is funny. So you pay your taxes and you get it back to get cheaper scooter fuel. That is completely silly if you think about it, about the pollution and about the livability, etc. So it is the wrong way, as Aziz also mentioned. You should not subsidize carbon fuel as government. But if there is no alternative, your government cannot do anything else than continue down the path. So this is a chicken-egg problem. If you don't drive an electric scooter, then the carbon fuel will be subsidized and those scooters will still be there. 139 million scooters adding to the pollution. So as a community, I want us to take responsibility. What you see here, I went to Sumeneb just a few weeks ago. This is an X-Max, 73 million rupiah. I want to buy that. No. I went to the Honda dealership in Sumeneb. I found a nice ADV 160 for about 40 million. Don't want to buy that. I want somebody in Indonesia, and I'm even willing to pay something for it. I want somebody to make a truly Indonesian e-scooter, which is as fast or faster than the high-end Yamaha and Honda, like Tesla. The Model S was faster than any other car. So the ambition is to go for the high end of the market and then go down to the lower level. That's the only way that it's going to work. Because what you can see in the streets of Sumeneb is these nice pink and mint green 3-4 million e-scooters that don't even have a license plate. They're not going to fix this problem. People don't take them seriously. So it is the appeal of more luxury, smaller footprint, lower cost, but the more luxury aspect is, I don't want to drive this, I don't want to drive this, this is not the right model, but I want the best e-scooter available in the market. Okay, I don't have enough money, I buy the second best, but if you don't reach high, if you try to do it from here, that doesn't work, you have to reach high. You are the lecturers for 700,000 students. Sorry, they need to be told about what the path is to go to sustainability. It is, in a way, your responsibility to help them to see this kind of light as well. Not the consumerism, but the sustainable consumerism. It cannot all be about numbers. It cannot all be about what is the cheapest thing, because cheap is in general bad. Cheap is low cost to buy, but long-term costs are way too high. So this is about making sure people understand the difference between cost and investment as well. Talk to your colleague Antares here in your department. He knows what we are talking about. So this has to be, in a way, with 700,000, soon 1 million students, this has to be clear for your faculty as well. Don't just talk according to the models that are coming for you from US and Europe, but create your own model. I'm willing to pay for that. So this is then what I would call the golden Sumeneb 2045. It is, in a way, a translation of what has been happening on the Indonesian level. I think that each region, each area perhaps should have a kind of vision. This is about sustainable tourism, for example. And before I go there, this is the plan that we have developed now. This is Aziz's work for sustainable housing based on the model I'll show you for both tourism as well as for students. The Bandung Residential Eco Village, we just spoke about it last week, and the Edo Tourism Hub as well. So what you have to realize is that in the world ranking of universities, you are already on number 9, and the other ones are mostly from India, big nation incomparable, but the US and Europe doesn't even play a big role here. The one US that you see here, it's completely different than what you are. So in a way, you are already one of the biggest open, the remote learning universities in the world, and soon you will be the biggest. Leadership is here already. Sorry, that's a responsibility as well. So I'm leaving this for the moment, and I'm going to invite you. Adam, can you hold the mic for me? To become more practical, you have to help me, Adam. This is a piece of land. And that piece of land, if you take this out, please. We're going to add a few batteries. And we're going to add a few wall panels. You have to keep the mic for my... So yes, so we're taking a wall panel here and another one here. And we are quickly going to connect them like this into a part of the tiny house that we are presenting. So I'm going to quickly assemble that. I did this in Sumeneb as well on the beach, as Rahmat remembers. And I did it in Bandung last week as well for that presentation. We are going to quickly build a tiny house. And a tiny house has a bathroom area. There we are. So can I have my shower, please? Can you bring me my shower? I need the shower, please. And need to turn that around. Oh yes, I know. I need the shower. Thank you. So this is the shower area. And then we're going to add another wall. And all of these elements are created with standard materials. This could be the model for our tiny house. And on top of that, we are actually going to add the roof. So like this. And we're going to add solar panels with similar integrated solar panels like this. I'm going to do it quickly, so not going to finish everything properly, just to show you what's going on. I need a bed, please. Can I have a bed? I need my bed now. Thank you. This is the shower. I put it in here. We're going to connect the batteries. Quickly. There you are. No, not the television yet. No. The television is for later. If you can see here, you should see that it is actually running already. Can you see the number on the screen? Yeah? Yeah? So it's actually running. So the batteries are connected. And that means that if we now collect the solar panels, we have a running system, a working system. And to prove that, I will take this little light here. Where is it? This is the big lights. I want a small one. This is my small light. I don't know where I left it. I'll use the big one then. There we are. This is way too big for the small version of the tiny house, but let me just show you what we can do. And there we are. We have solar energy stored in batteries. We have light. We can charge our phone. We can run the television. So the television will be connected to this as well. Hot water, rice cooker. All of these things can run on 24 volts DC. No PLN invoice anymore. Your scooter, your car can all be charged like this. So this is the idea of what we are going to build, and we call it the 24 volt low voltage grid, like this. So this is just a simple, quick demonstration of something that Rahmat and Chipto and others are working on. This concept is about including sustainability in each and every aspect of your life, in your choice for your breakfast even. Did you know that if you eat chicken, you have been feeding the chicken? There's a lot of things going on in feeding the chicken. What is the most sustainable choice? Eating the egg. The chicken has to be fed. The food comes from somewhere. It's a lot more. So it's more sustainable. I'm not saying you should eat chicken or egg, but huh? Oh, okay. I'll take it out. Yeah. I know it's slightly overcharged. Yeah, because I used the wrong connection. Okay, I'll fix that. But that's interesting. Why is it still taken out like that? So what is happening is that this is part of a challenge that I should have fixed. That was the problem of the quick demo. As an engineer, I know what's going on. The battery is too powerful for the lights. So normally there is another controller in between. And I didn't do that. So that was my mistake. But the choices that we make need to be everyday choices, and it needs to come from 700,000 students and 300 million Indonesians. So that's the last thing that I wanted to discuss with you. Do you have any questions or things that you would like to discuss?
Thank you, Mr. Erno and Mr. Aziz, for your valuable presentations. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now proceed to the question Q&A sessions. Please submit your question via chat box and kindly mention your name and institutions or your study program. We have any questions in this room? You can raise your hand or in the Zoom chat. Okay, the first questions. Yeah. You can say your name, introduce your name.
Thank you, Mr. Adam and Prof. Erno. Okay, thank you, Mr. Erno. I think the title leadership about leadership sustainability or climate sustainability. I think leadership sustainability, Mr. Erno. Yeah. Khalifah or leadership, yeah, has been a topic of many prominent leaders. I believe leadership and politics are two intertwined, yeah, intertwined element that go hand in hand for sustainable. Okay, leadership without politics for climate, yeah. In Indonesia, isu climate, banjir, yeah, stuck in street,
Traffic jam, yeah.
Traffic jam, yeah, is impossible to sustain and be generally accepted, yeah. Question for Mr. Erno. According to for Mr. Mandela, Mr. Erno, are relevant for Indonesia in building sustainability global, especially for climate risk in Indonesia, leadership and economy and environment issues. And for Mr. Aziz, yeah, about Khalifah in Muslim or kepemimpinan, ya, leadership, tokoh Sayyidina Umar bin Khattab, ya, who was always just, modest, and then apa ya, role model for leadership and organized in his administration, accountability. Yeah, what is relevant in Indonesia in building sustainability for global leadership on economy and environmental issues? Thank you, Mr. Adam.
So we need to look at history. And we need to look at the role of religion as well. And what Mr. Aziz has mentioned is that your Islam, being the biggest Muslim country in the world, that your religion has a lot of starting points for sustainability as well. Now look at history. Sorry, this is bad. I'm from the Netherlands. But you know what happened 300-400 years ago in the churches in the Netherlands? We were going to go to Indonesia, to Africa, to Indonesia. This was coming out of the religious background as well. So you have to realize that we had so many colonies in Britain and the Netherlands and other countries is partly driven by the leadership even coming from our churches. This was the vision of bringing Christianity all over the world as well. So it is that mixture of leadership from an economic, but also from a social aspect as well. We want to develop the world to all of them to become Christians, which never happened, fortunately, I think. The influence on society of having this discussion on each and every level, including in religion as well, is important. For me, at least, that was clear when I looked at the history that we have had. I've listened to a lot of podcasts about this as well. And you can see how important that part of society was as well. People were spending money in the VOC, the famous company that came here, yeah? And that was coming from people like yourself as well. Via the churches, spending money, buying shares into the VOC. So now it is up to us to do the same with sustainability as well. To make your nation a leadership in sustainability with involvement of all the people in the street. And religion plays an important role in that as well. Does that help? Aziz, anything from you?
Yes, thank you. I know. Yeah, that's a very interesting and heavy questions. Yeah. Again, if we take a look at the material that I've had discussed, yeah, there's a gap. There's a gap between the value, yeah, the ideal of leadership and the reality. And we can see that, yes, of course, you mentioned about the Khalifah, yeah, Umar bin Khattab, even the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They were very rich, yeah. They were entrepreneurs, yeah, except for Ali bin Abi Talib, who was actually scholars. But they live very sustainably. Yeah, they live very modestly. Yeah, and those are some of the aspects, some of the values that we can actually taken as example. All right. So there is no leaders more perfect. They won't be. There won't be because the Prophet Muhammad was the Maksum, the most the perfect one. Yeah. So what we can do then is to try to take a look at those all values as the framework. All right. And here values will provide a framework for us to think because the in practice we have to also think local here, think how Indonesian government and the policy and the leaders as well to try to implement all of those values in the leadership system. So as I have mentioned before, one of the examples is probably like stop deforestations, yeah, or even maybe the law enforcement. So those are some values which are not actually implemented, and the gap again is the huge problem here. But looking back to what we have discussed, uh, the concept of seed is actually quite interesting because um, the prophet said that we have to plant a seed even when we are facing the doomsday, the end of day. If tomorrow is the end of the day, the kiyama, and we have a seedling, then plant it. So I think that kind of spirit is something that we need to have. Our leaders should have as well. So plant even a small seed. Whatever we can do in individual level, in institutional level, and as well, of course, as you said, in the policy level or the government level. So that's my answer. I think it is go back to the gap between the value system that we already have actually and the implementation that is lacking, yeah, in the practical system. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Adam. I hope that answers the questions.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Mr. Aziz, for your answer,
Yeah.
and Mr. Erno. Okay, thank you for Mrs. Iis for the question. Okay, maybe next participant. Okay,
Okay.
you can introduce your
Okay.
name.
Let me introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Anis. I'm from Islamic Economic Department. Despite widespread, okay, despite widespread of a global advocacy for sustainability, green economy, and SDGs, many of today's most influential innovation, like cryptocurrency and AI, contradict this principle. Bitcoin or cryptocurrency mining is known for its massive electricity consumption, and artificial intelligence development increasingly requires energy intensive and significant water usage for cooling, raising question about whether sustainability commitments are truly being implemented or remain largely symbolic.
So what you are attaching, what you are mentioning is an important point. If you look at big computer centers in the Netherlands, Microsoft and Google and others and Amazon, they want to build more and more in the Netherlands because it is rather central in Europe. But the consumption of one data center is similar to a city of 200,000 people in the Netherlands. And now we have a problem because we have enough solar energy and enough wind energy coming in from the sea, but we do not know how to distribute it into the Netherlands, into Germany, because our central lines, our grid, national grid, is not big enough. So in the next 20, 30 years, we'll be spending trillions of rupiah, billions of euros in trying to expand the grid. And we cannot build new houses at the moment. We cannot start new businesses because the grid is overloaded. In South Africa, so we're thinking about global, in South Africa, something similar is happening. The grid is overloaded and many areas don't even have proper electricity, and you still want to build data centers. Indonesia, the same. You need data centers here as well. But your population doesn't even have basic electricity sometimes in areas like Madura. Distributed systems take the load off. If you have a group of houses in a system like this, low voltage grid, you put less burden on the national grid and allow both of them to happen. So you need to not go to a single strategy of a national grid trying to carry everything, but you need to look at more local grids in Sumeneb, in Bogor, in Bandung as well, in Ponorogo, so that you take away the load on the national grid in the Netherlands, in Indonesia, in South Africa. That's the only way forward. Unfortunately, that kind of thinking is not really part of the policy enough, and of subsidies, etc. But we can still do this. So what you saw just now, going to Madura, to Sumeneb, is a first attempt to build ecotourism based on sustainable ideas as well. That makes it practical. We want to do the same after talking to that lady in Bandung last week. In Bandung, we are talking about Bulgaria. We're talking about South Africa. When I'm back on Sunday in Port Elizabeth, South Africa, my landlord, Mr. Brian, wants me to, as quickly as possible, to proceed with this project. We already have one solar roof panel. We will have 12 more, and that first tiny house will be there soon. And then coming back for me in April here, probably around April, I will continue the talks about having the practical. I would like to have a tiny house on your campus even, as a demo, just near the Green Cafe, just as a demo, so you can sleep there. And now Bulan is smiling because it's actually part of her dream as well, to build these kind of things. It is combining the dreams from people in the room, from Rahmat, from Zainur, from others, that help us to make these things practical as well. So from the knowledge, the mountain of knowledge, to practical application.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Erno. Thank you, Mr. Anis, for your question. Move to the next. We have other questions. Oh, we have online questions from the chat box from Novita Uki Utami. In your point of view, how important is religious values awareness in shaping leaders' environmentally responsible decisions, especially for your young leaders? Maybe you and Aziz can answer these questions.
Yeah, so now we go back to phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. One of the images that I showed you, we actively are working with people in phase 1 to not so much tell them what to do, but to make sure that young leaders have the clarity of how the future needs to be shaped. I am not the future. I'm too old. In 5 or 10 years, I will be gone. But if I can have Adam or others of his age to have a better understanding of what is needed, that is the ambition that we as our community have as well, to enable the young leaders to make better choices.
Thank you. Move to Mr. Aziz. You can answer the questions in the chat box.
Yeah, thank you very much. This is a very good questions, and I would say yes, very important, and for some reasons, yeah. Firstly, and Arno has also talked about it, um, the phase 1, yeah. And if we look back also into my presentation, that after the creation of Adam alayhi salam, then Allah created an education system. So this is how actually leaders can be shaped. Yeah. And if we see also in the era of the Prophet Muhammad SAW, there were so many scientists at the time coming from the Islamic background. Yeah, because actually, since Quran is perfected, then it would be the point of it would be the reference that they would take, and then they put it in practice, into action in the real life. So many of all those scholars are usually not um, one field expert only. Usually they have multiple expertise. And that's exactly, I think, the answers to one of the answers, I mean, to all of the leadership problem. A leader need to know many things. We talked with one of the hotel manager in Bandung with Erno, and he told us about that he needed to take care of plumbing, he needed to take care of also roofing and also the um, bathroom and many other things, even the English. Yeah. So a leader, yeah, is actually holding a very important role, and that's why education, in this case, plays an important role in shaping his mindset, his values, and of course, religion. yeah, our religious values, as you mentioned in the questions, is actually the framework, the boundary that can be followed in shaping all of those decisions. So you know the fence, you have the framework, but then you put it into actions based on those analysis, based on the values and based on the conditions in the field. That's, I think, my answer.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Aziz, for your answers. Yeah. Do we have any questions here? Okay. I think is enough. Oh, last questions from Sir Ahmed.
Mr. Rahmat,
Yeah, thank you.
as you are in a way the initiator of this, are you satisfied about what happened today?
Yeah, thank you. Erno, when at the first presentation, you said you go around the world, right? And then I think when you go around the world, you can see anything, and you get experience. I mean, right? After that, I'm so interesting when you say about global thinking. How to train to everyone have global thinking? This is maybe it's big question for me, and then I hope you can to explain clearly for to me exactly. Thank you.
I have sad news for you. You are in phase 2. You are very busy in surviving. Phase 1 is the ideal time for exploration, and in a way you missed that opportunity. Sorry, there are solutions for that, but the biggest thing is that in that first phase of your life, your students, yourself, should explore things outside Indonesia as well. And not specifically Europe or the US, but look even at areas like Africa and South America, where there is still development going on, where there are developing countries going to be like you developed. But I think Indonesia will be faster. So looking just at examples in Europe and the US or even China is not the best way, because that is perhaps not the best path. What can we do to help people like yourself? Well, you need to go to see examples outside Indonesia, preferably. You have to look at what is good and bad over there. South Africa is a good example. Brazil is a good example. All of them are part of BRICS as well. So exploring the world as much as possible will give you that global vision. So all of you in the room, travel more, explore more, and make it part of your plan. It is needed for Indonesia and for yourself, or the other way around, for yourself and for Indonesia.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Ahmad, is it clear? And yeah, okay. Distinguished speakers and participants, as we come to the end of this seminar, I would like to express my appreciations to our speakers for their excellent presentations and to all participants for your active participations. Today's seminar has reminded us that meaningful and sustainable change must emerge from bottom up through communities, young innovators, educators, and future leaders who are willing to act, collaborate, and create impact. It is our hope that this seminar will inspire the younger generation to take an active role in shaping the future. At this point, I would like to hand the sessions back to our Master of Ceremony, Mrs. Karisma, for the closing of the event. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I would like to express our sincere gratitude to our moderator and distinguished speaker for valuable insight and knowledge shared with us today. Maybe the next agenda is photo session. And please all participants to come forward to photo session with our speaker today. Okay, maybe the first pose is UT pose, please. UT pose. UT. Okay, first UT pose. One, oh, okay, 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Maybe the next pose. Maybe UT pose again, please. Please look at the camera. UT pose 1, 2, and 3. Okay, another pose. The last one. Okay. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, thank you. Okay, okay. Oh yeah, yeah, okay. Okay, we have now reached the end of today's seminar. I'm Karisma Azmi, as your Master of Ceremony, would like to apologize for any shortcoming event. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you at our next event.
Toma chocolate, paga lo que debes. Toma chocolate, paga lo que debes. Toma chocolate, paga lo que debes.